Pelotero Pickle, episode 45. We're doing a deep dive on Shohei Ohtani. Tyler Glasnow blamed his injury on the slippery balls. Is that what's going on? And youth baseball fight. What actually happened? Kid got punched in the neck. Let's check it out. Pickle, episode 45. It is spin day for Major League Baseball. Spin day. Chris, how you doing?
What's up, Bobby? I'm live on site, post-production at Pelotero North, New England Baseball Complex.
Just a quick reminder. Cool. We got a quick reminder. Send in your email questions to pickle@pelotero.com. We love getting all your questions. It's been great to see all these emails coming in. Pickle@pelotero.com. Send in your questions. Chris is at Pelotero North. I'm at Pelotero South. Ohtani is going to the home run derby. Let's talk about what he is doing right now, because he's in like God mode, I think what the kids say these days. He hit like 47 homers last week. He's got a 2.70 ERA. He's striking out 12 per 9. His 10 stolen bags. Like what? This guy's an avatar.
You remember the backyard Little League baseball game?
He got all the points. He's like an
yeah.
and everything, right?
Do you remember the backyard Little League baseball game where you could pick like Joey or Tommy? Whoever the kid was, I don't remember who the best player was, but that's Ohtani in backyard Little League baseball. He's pretty good, man. And he's, you know what's my favorite part is he's having fun. It looks like he's having fun. I think one of the things I play with Kawasaki, obviously, those years in Toronto, and it's such a culture change to come from Japan to the United States. Kyle always used to say, and he used to say, you know, Japan very serious, and America fun, you know, more fun. So I think Ohtani's really embracing it now, and you can see it. I would love to see him hitting the home run derby and go full sprint around the bases for a homer.
He's really fast. He's really tall. He's really athletic. He hits bombs. Remember when before he got here, he like hit a ball into the roof at, was it Tokyo Dome? Somewhere he hit a ball like in it, like it like went in the roof.
Yeah, he's an avatar for sure. But I think he's just bringing to light the fact that there should be more two-way players in the big leagues.
So is he
I think he's special. Don't get me wrong.
Is he a hitter who pitches or a pitcher who hits?
I mean, whatever. Doesn't matter. He's like Michael Lorenzen. Michael Lorenzen's a pitcher that hits, right? Aaron Hicks is a pitcher that hits, hitter that pitches, pitcher that hits. He should have been a pitcher.
He's a golfer that plays baseball. Maybe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he's so good at golf.
But how many guys? Seriously, how many guys could have? How many position players that have? You know, if they just kept going when they got out of school and they were, you know, the closer. Like the kid, there's a kid in Nebraska right now who's like he plays shortstop and he's a closer. So how many guys could do it? I mean, I think for years it was like voodoo. You weren't allowed to do it. I remember you couldn't get drafted as both.
Well, there's an injury risk. I mean, even Ohtani had Tommy John. So the way they're using him as he's DHing and then pitching when he pitches and he hits when he pitches. But the two-way player traditionally has been like a shortstop. I don't think you could play shortstop and pitch. You have to be the DH and pitch. Here's the question though. Do you think there's more position players that could also pitch or more pitchers that could also hit?
Definitely more position players that could pitch. Come on.
Obviously.
What kind of question is that? Let's be serious. Position players are the best athletes on the planet.
Who do you think who in the big leagues right now, or even you're getting older now. So guys, when you were like in 2015, who was a guy that you think some of you played against that could have got on the mound?
Dude, Kiermaier throws 1,000. You could just put him on the mound. He's going to throw at least 95. He literally throws the ball 102 on a grow hop. So he could get on the mound and throw the ball 92, 93, 94, 95 miles an hour, whatever it is. There are plenty of dudes.
How much do you need to hit to be in that role though? So if you're going to be a DH, you got to bang. Ohtani is banging right now.
I don't see why you couldn't be the right fielder or the left fielder. I understand. I certainly understand where you're coming from. You have to hit enough to be able to fill the DH spot. But in terms of what Major League Baseball is looking for right now about dynamic guys that can play multiple positions, it's funny if you can play multiple positions, but you suck at hitting. If you just play multiple positions average and you suck at hitting, you can get a job in the big leagues. If you're really good at hitting, but you only play one position and you just play it mediocre, they're like, I don't understand it, because I feel like the Dodgers just throw a dart at a board to make the lineup card.
They have a bunch of like puzzle pieces that adapt based on what day it is.
Yeah, Chris Taylor plays second, short, third, center field, right field, and left field. And then maybe once he'll go to first. But this, again, I think the Dodgers are taking advantage of something that for years in baseball was frowned upon, right? You were told play your position and that's it. The same way you were told take your swing and that's it when you go in the cage. And dudes are good athletes. And I'm not going to lie to you, if I really needed to, I could play second base.
Well, they had Muncy playing second base.
That's what I'm saying.
What is it? What's his name?
Beatty and McKinstry and
who's the lefty that raps the bat like crazy? He was with the Red Sox and now he's with the Brewers.
Oh, Travis Shaw. Yeah.
Travis Shaw was playing second base.
Mike Mustache has played second base.
Yeah.
And they're so not second baseman, right? They're so not second baseman. But I always said this when I was coming up in Minnesota. And, obviously Brian Dozier turned himself into an all-star caliber player. But I would say if you have a guy who hits 25, 30 homers, right, or has a chance to, that's like a first baseman that's pretty athletic, why wouldn't you just try to put him at second, even if he stinks at defense, if you don't have an offensive second baseman? If you have a guy who's going to hit 210 with no pumps, like playing second base.
Yeah. Like what's the defensive run saved compared to the offense production?
Yeah. When it was, I think what Chase Utley was really the first second baseman that really banged, I guess, was like a guy that just smashed. Robbie Alomar. Jeff Kent.
Roberto Alomar could hit. Jeff Kent could hit.
In those 90s, early 2000s, those were like the first guys that would play second base that smashed. And everybody was like, whoa, and they were way bigger than the position.
Yeah, it used to be like it was Jody Reed and Mark Lemke.
Yeah. Like Mike Gallego. Love it.
Just short dudes that could catch the ball really well. Maybe they're switch hitters. Maybe they move the ball around the field.
It was illegal to hit over 270 with
illegal.
With like if you hit more than 5 homers, it was illegal to hit over 270 as a second baseman. Or if you hit like 15 homers, you had to hit like 250 or less. That was the rule at second base. And then all of a sudden, guys, Chase Utley plays second. Cool, he's 6'3", 200 pounds, whatever. It was the same thing as when the Garcia, Rodriguez, Jeter generation came up. Like it was mutually exclusive. Like you had to be Ozzie Smith to play short.
Well, then I think just like Cal Ripken was the first guy that broke the mold as a tall shortstop. They used to be just short dudes that were really good defenders, couldn't hit. It's like they're giving up that position on the field. And then Cal Ripken came in and he was like, "Hey, I'm really good at catching the ball and really good at hitting." And then when A-Rod came up, his first couple years in Seattle were stupid. How about this though? To go back to Ohtani, what does it say about Mike Trout from a marketing standpoint when we're hearing so much about Ohtani, and like Mike Trout just was never really on the radar, despite being the best player in the game?
Yeah, I mean, it says people like things that are, I don't know, unique, different, new, foreign. I mean, he's global, right? Like Ohtani's global. I think that helps the cause significantly. Ichiro's global. So anybody that played on the West Coast, that you had the luxury of having the allure to the Far East. That's why I feel like Ichiro stayed in Seattle for as many years as he did. So many of the Asian players go to Seattle, right? They stay on the West Coast or they get signed by them, and big Asian culture on that side of the country. So, I mean, I don't know. Mike Trout's is good, and he's just quiet, so nobody cares. But how about Jared Walsh casually has like 18 Thompson sitting 295? Imagine if they had Pujols still too. They had good Pujols.
They couldn't. There's not enough roster space.
Yeah, they could. Pujols could have played third.
So Pujols could have played third. Rendon's over there getting paid a pretty good amount of money to play third base for them. No, it's a win-win for Albert because he got to go to the Dodgers. His OPS is like 850. He's hitting pumps.
Maybe he's just a National League player.
Is it just matchups? I got a text this morning asking, like, what's up with with Dodgers pools. I think he's just having fun. I think he's
he's having a good time. They're winning. You get caught in a rut, man. If you're an older player, you get caught in a rut. I can see how hard it would be.
Last Ohtani question: how much is he going to get paid? If he stays healthy this year and he puts up a decent year next year, I believe he's got one more year. Is there one more year in the contract? I saw a question about this on Twitter. I need to look it up. How much is he going to get paid?
$1 billion. But my advice. So
could it literally $1 billion? That's not like a non-sarcastic $1 billion. He's
$1 billion.
He's 23 years old. He signed through 2022. He signed a 2-year, $8.5 million contract.
If you were a team, right, and you were looking at it from a value standpoint, right, he's your ace or number 2. So you pay that guy $300 million, and then he's your best hitter, and you pay that guy $300 million. So is it out of the question for him to ask for $600 million? He's like, I'm 2 players. If he makes 30 starts in a year and then hits 40 homers, is it out of the question to ask for 600?
They're gonna sell that many jerseys in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I hear. How about this idea? How about make him a closer and then just run him in from right field every night? Although, but that day he was late to the field, he couldn't pitch because he has a 42-hour routine, and they were like, "No, you can't pitch. You didn't get to do your, Zen kung fu stretching or whatever at 4 o'clock."
They blamed it on the Bart too, and then the Bart came back on Twitter and was like, "No, we were good."
He's probably blaming it on the fact that he was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna get to the field when I want to because I can."
Yeah. In summary, Ohtani, very good, good at baseball. He's doing special things right now.
But he's not the MVP.
Who is the MVP then? Vladdy? Tell you what, if Ohtani continues doing what he's doing, he has to be the MVP.
Is it possible for the 2 front runners for MVP in the American League to not make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the Rays are very good. The Red Sox are pretty good.
Hey, watch out for Gary Sanchez.
He's warming up. He's warming up. He still can't catch, but he's warming up.
Yeah. Is that the MVP? Because without him, the Yankees would be like 10 games under 500.
They need to just DH him all the time.
Probably. But they have a problem.
They have a 8,000. I just tried to say 8,000 like it was an exaggeration. Stanton's getting paid way too much to not be the DH.
Yeah, he's hitting a little bit, right? He's doing Stantonian things.
He can't play the field, or he doesn't play the field. He's getting paid a lot of money to be a DH.
I bet he could dunk though.
Most likely. Remember, I saw him at the hotel at the WBC. His hips were as high as my shoulders. He's like Stretch Armstrong body / Avatar as well.
Large.
All right, let's move in on some spin stuff. I got like a sticky substance on my hat accidentally in my car. So if you can see, there's like a little dark spot right there. So if I'm going to my hat, I'm just getting a little something, getting a little extra spin for the Pickle episode here. Tyler Glasnow had a pretty interesting lightning rod kind of interview where he kind of blamed his elbow injury on not using any sort of sticky substance. His argument was that he was gripping the ball a lot more firm. I got a ball right here. He was gripping it harder. It wasn't.
You got a ball in your pocket?
It wasn't an egg. It wasn't a baby bird. He had to grip it. And then when he pitched in an outing in preparation for spin day, today's spin day, he had an outing and he said he woke up and he was sore in muscles that he didn't even know he had, which I imagine as a major league pitcher is not very fun. So went out in his next outing, didn't finish his outing, had to come out. What is going on? There was a Trevor Bauer. Did you watch a Bauer video?
Mm-hmm.
I watched the full YouTube. It was like pretty long, like 30 minutes. I thought he made some really good points. The point about not having a definition of sticky, kind of a big deal. There was just an article that Ken Rosenthal had out on The Athletic titled, I have it pulled up, MLB's crackdown on foreign substances. Now comes the difficult part. And basically the article is like, yeah, somebody's going to get it wrong. Somebody's going to get banged for 10 games for nothing because just an umpire will arbitrarily say, yeah, I think your hand's too sticky. So take a shower. And
this all sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's no
This all sounds really familiar.
Yeah, well, at least your situation is ridiculous because it was just fake. It's just straight up like fake.
Yeah, but so is this. It's just, it's the same.
But your situation was a sample size of one. The entire study was a sample size of one. So there's like no controls. There's no like, there's nothing like to really anchor that. Like there is an element of stickiness where like you can go out and like feel it. Like you couldn't piss in a cup right now and I could tell you like, oh yeah, there's picograms of whatever in there.
Sure.
If you go and touch somebody's fingers, like if you touch my hat right now, can you hear that?
Yeah, I can actually see it. It's a little, it's getting dirty.
Yeah. So like now I got a little extra tack right now. I can spin. Like if you're telling me that doesn't increase your spin rate, like I'm just doing this on my hat right now. I think it's like glue melting down from my dashboard or something.
Perfect.
And it's sticky on my hat, and I just touched the ball right now, and I could
all pitchers should just eat a Cinnabon between innings from now on. And
they're gonna inspect the pitchers after their innings.
I know it's garbage. So all these crap things that they're doing are
nobody on the grass after they pitch.
Yeah, nobody's thinking about nobody's thinking about the counter effects, and doing it in the middle of the season is an absolute abomination. Just what a swing and miss. Like just full send, mistake, mess up. Brutal, right? And in typical Major League Baseball fashion, let's just respond to what the world is saying out loud, which it's a joke, man. It's a joke. It's literally a joke. There's going to be more. And now when guys like Tyler Glasnow get hurt, they can say, hey, I got hurt because of this. And people are going to believe them, whether they did or not. How the heck does Tyler Glasnow really know if that's why he got hurt? Like, he doesn't.
There's no way for them to track it down. There's so much exposure that they've created. Because now Glasnow is going to say, oh, well, you owe me money now, or they're going to sue Major League Baseball.
And what's going to happen the next time somebody gets Kevin Pillar and the pitcher's like, I couldn't feel the ball, so like I don't know what to do. So like more guys are going to get hit. Command's going to go down. Command's already bad in the major leagues. It's already terrible.
I really don't think people realize how slick brand new Major League Baseballs are.
That's why people use sticky stuff forever, because the ball's too slippery.
It's a cue ball. It's like a brand new ball and a lot of pitchers are coming out saying that they end up dusty because they rub them up and then they sit in a bucket for 3 days or a week and all the mud just dries. So
and there are no seams on the big league ball either, by the way. The seams are like super low.
So you've got this cue ball that's slippery. And now guys, I understand, like the only argument that I can like kind of come up with is they need to do something that's standardized. In Bauer's video, he was talking about this conveyor belt thing where they're spraying some substance, something on the ball that will make it tacky enough or an agreed upon tack level. They got to do something. They can't just roll guys out there with nothing because that's ridiculous. The rosin, I sweat a lot when I played. I was always wiping my hand off when I pitched when I was younger. Like you end up like putting your hand in the dirt, trying to get rosin. You gotta get some sort of feel of that ball. So yeah, like you said, somebody's gonna get hit in the face again. Other pitchers are gonna say they get hurt from it. Doing it in season is they should maybe at least wait till the All-Star break. Like
even that would have been
just like it's June 21st. Hey guys.
Yeah. New rule.
No more.
But new old rule that already exists.
Hey, that's been ignored for 100 years is back on, starting today with no like rational approach to creating like consistency.
No conversation. Cole was like, look, we're open to conversations. This is the biggest root of the whole problem to me is this false fight between players and league is just fabricated by players and league, or like by PA and league. If you just put everybody in the room together, it would be much easier to have dialogue about it. But the league, I feel like, creates the problem because they just want to. Because say in my case, I would sit down with Major League Baseball and be like, guys, let's get it right. I've said this for 5.5 years. Let's just get it right. That's all we want. Just get it right. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. If you have rational people sitting in a room that want to make good choices for the better development of everything. Like, just take everything into consideration. Say, okay, here's the business aspect of it. Here's the game aspect of it. Here's the human piece of it. And let's just figure it out. Instead, these just arbitrary decisions get made trying to objectify something for the sake of what, I don't know, the masses are saying, or the 17 people on Twitter. Or what are we doing? This is why the game is being overhauled to a point where people can't even recognize it anymore. And literally, if you're chewing on Double Bubble and you spit on your finger, your hand's going to be sticky. If you lick your fingers with Double Bubble.
Who was doing that a couple years in the World Series? It was so
yeah,
like pushing it out and just wiping his hand.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, people are going to find a way to do this, and now, across the board, ejected. See ya, gone. 10-day suspension.
10-game without a call up.
By the way,
you're going to cut the roster size.
Here's what I would do. If I were a reliever that was dealing, right? And I was going either into ARB. Well, ARB, no, because you need the innings. But if I was going to free agency, if I was a reliever, like Ryan Tepera is a guy that comes to mind to me, former teammate, shoving, right? And the only reason why he's shoving is because he's going four-seam slider instead of the cutter that he used to throw. I'm like, dude, you throw 97. Why would you throw cutters that walk into people's barrels? Anyway, if I'm Ryan Tepera and I'm going to catch a 10-day banger with pay where I can just go cool out for like a good 10 days, maybe get some golf in, go to the spa, hyperbaric chamber, and I know that I'm going to free agency next year, that's 10 less days that I can get my teeth kicked in. And that's 10 more days for me to recover my body and maybe figure out how to throw this non-sticky ball. So I'll go out there the first time with a full stick of pine tar in my back pocket and be like, hey, I got it. Look at it.
Get a new ball from the umpire, take out a stick and start rubbing it up.
10-day vacation. Thanks. Paid. Oh, sick. I'll be in Hawaii chilling. And when free agency comes, they're going to go off my numbers from before. So see you later. Like, I don't know, man. It's so ridiculous. We've crossed the line from it was something I talked about to I'm so tired of talking about it to like I'm so tired of talking about it that I want to talk about it.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
I was going back and forth with somebody on Twitter about this and talking about how Major League Baseball is going to try to scapegoat somebody, right? They're going to want to point the finger and say, look, we're cleaning up the game. I don't think the players are going to let that happen. I think social media and guys like Trevor Bauer, and is it Trevor May on the Mets right now?
Yeah, he's a big twitcher.
Yeah, he's got a little vlog going now too. I think there's too many former players and there's too many current players that have big enough platforms that they're not going to let that Major League Baseball play we're cleaning up the game card.
Well, you know what's funny?
Very interesting play out.
I avoided, so I wish my situation had started now or today's social media and presence by players existed then, because I shied away from it. I said, look, I'm not going to fight this battle publicly. I'm going to fight it behind the scenes. But that's really all Major League Baseball wants, because as you can see, like, it is so abundantly clear that MLB just responds to whatever controversy exists. And it's such a horrible way of doing business. The UFC does the exact opposite. Dana White tries to do the right thing, whatever he believes in, and that is the right thing, and he continues to do it. UFC is growing tremendously because they're developing loyal fan bases. MLB is responding to whatever Johnny down the street said, and now you're pissing off every segment of people. It's unbelievable. What a poor way to do business, in my opinion. And you know, this thing that's been sustained for so long is, I don't know. Could it ever crumble completely? I don't think so. But man, oh man, like, whatever.
Just there's a lot of lawyers and a lot of suits involved. There was you ever see the movie Ford versus Ferrari?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that, where like Ford has a bunch of suits,
Batman and Thor, right?
A bunch of egos involved and a bunch of people that are trying to protect their own interests and just get it right.
And it's Batman against Thor in the races. Is that right?
I don't know that one.
Christian Bale and Chris Hemsworth or Liam. Chris Hemsworth. It's not Christian Bale.
It's Christian Bale.
One of the Hemsworths.
I didn't know there was any other famous person driving in that movie.
Who's the driver of the Ford car?
Christian Bale.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon is like, he used to drive.
But no, Bale isn't Bale he's
like the lead character.
Specialty car guy?
Yeah, he's Miles. Ken Miles.
Hemsworth's not in the movie?
I don't think so. It's
Which
really
different
movie.
Oh, I messed it up. It would have been, yeah, that's it. That would have been sick though if it was Batman.
Thank God, producer Pat's
I'm glad I messed that up.
All right, let's keep going with the MLB game changing stuff. So Bryan Price, there's an article in USA Today, and they put the article behind the paywall. So we're just going to talk about kind of the crux of the what that article was about. So it's basically Bryan Price was a major league pitching coach, considered to be one of the top pitching coaches in all of baseball. And he just shut it down. He just pulled the plug on his career and was like, I don't want to do this anymore. There was a line in there that said something to the effect of like, I don't want to fight this fight anymore. And it was about how essentially the art of pitching is not part of the game anymore. It's just a very different product. And as a more veteran coach, just chose like, I'm not going to be involved in this anymore. And it's stuff that, I mean, I feel like we talk about this every week, but the article was pretty cool. It was sent in by somebody, so I wanted to talk about it. But where do you see the game going? I guess it's a pendulum swing, right? It's gone too far, in my opinion. I feel like it's still going. It's going to bounce back at some point, but like for a guy that's been in the game for a long time to say, look, I'm just not interested in being involved in this anymore. I'm out. Let's take it a layer deeper, right? And really where I think the crux of the entire problem lies. And it's not necessarily the fact that the shape or the direction the game's going. The other day, I don't know if you saw when Acuna got thrown out at third base, making a ridiculous base running play, like literally just an atrocious base running play. Brian Snitker's doing an interview, and Brian Snitker's one of the best dudes I know in baseball. And he makes a comment in the interview saying like, Ronald needs to know better. He can't make that mistake. And everybody ran to Acuna's defense, like the whole world. Mercedes swung at the 3-0 pitch. La Russa made a comment in the newspaper or to the media. Everybody crucified La Russa. The game, when we grew up, we were taught to respect our coaches and managers. Full paradigm shift in the game now, to the point where it had started trending that way, where players started making a lot of money and they were kind of above the coaching staff. But there was still a level of like, if you disrespected your coaches, you weren't a player, you weren't going to have a job. And now it's gone completely the opposite direction. And I would say that the coaches have now just become these, I don't even know what they are, to be honest with you. I don't know if they're translators. I don't know if they're psychologists. I don't know what they're supposed to be. But there's no way to fully educate. I would say most coaches are trying to, if you get into coaching, you're trying to really be able to make an impact on somebody's life and change, of course, their career through information or help or the ability to deal with problems that are arising throughout your career. And that's just all gone now. And that's why I think I'm watching stuff happen. I'm going, why are we defending Acuna for a brutal base running play? When Snicker was asked a pointed question in the media, he answered it. Like, now Acuna is a really talented player, but he made some bonehead mistakes last year. And when I saw Snit out in Italy, I told him, I said, kudos to you for taking him out of the lineup when he pimped a single off the wall. Because these are things that you need to learn those lessons. Because if you don't have the experience as a player of being taught a lesson from the mistake, then you'll just continue to make the same mistake. Am I wrong to think that way? Because I would have made the same mistakes over and over again if nobody reprimanded me. But now that's like illegal. And beyond that, now obviously you bring in the data and analytics and the tech, and I think that's what Price is probably talking about. But it's just there's no I don't know. It's different. It's the players, and that's it. Like, let them play. Let the kids play. Great. Nobody's learning about the game. Yeah, it was pretty crazy, I thought, to see how many people on Twitter reacted so negatively towards Snitker or Snicker? Snicker. It was a bad base running mistake. Like, you're down by 2. He just hit a ball to the gap. He was the
-1 run. He was the -1. Yeah.
The tying run was Freddie Freeman was the tying run coming.
The MVP. Yeah.
And had already homered in the game. I think he was 2 for 4 going into the at bat. So to get thrown out of third base right there, where your run means nothing. It's just a really bad mistake. And do you do it in the press? I don't think he threw him under the bus. When I heard the
No.
quote, it was like, yeah, he made a mistake. He can't we can't make mistakes like that if we're going to win good, tight ball games.
Well,
That's how I heard it. I didn't hear it as like, oh, Acuna blew the game. He didn't throw him under the bus. I didn't think, but Twitter was all about it.
You know what's funny is I saw a thing where somebody pointed to Swanson had like a similar situation. I didn't see the play. I don't know the context of the play, and they said, "Oh, it's just a young player trying to make an aggressive play." Now, what I'll say about Dansby Swanson is, for the most part, like, I haven't seen him do bonehead things like pimp a single off the wall, and it's not like a reoccurring problem, right? So like it's like when you're in school, you have kids that make get in a lot of trouble and kids that don't get in any trouble, and you're always easier on the kid that doesn't cause problems. That's just human nature. And I'm not saying like he was harder on Acuna, but somehow these lessons have to get conveyed to players, or if not, the game is it's starting to trend in a direction where all the traditional things that I think people respected and loved about the game, they're kind of just drifting away. And that's why Bryan Price said, "I'm out, dude. Like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore." And it's okay. Like, I think he's within his right to do that. I mean, I get it. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how I feel. I feel strongly that there are things that are so different from what I learned and the way I think just taught to respect older people and people that were conveying messages to me. Like when I first met Ron Gardenhire, I was, like a statue. Same Rich Kedman, Butch Hobson, John Gibbons, Gene Glenn, guys I played for that I just, Terry Francona, that it was like an honor for me to be around those guys, as opposed to just, that feeling you get when you're around somebody that you really, that you really admired for a long time or respected. I don't know that young players get that anymore. So they just kind of take it's like you ask the questions that you're trying to get the answer that you want, as opposed to the answer that you need, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely changed quite a bit, and I don't see that reversing course whatsoever, not anytime soon. I think the game needs it, and it ties into kids bouncing from one team to the next when they're not getting playing time they want, or whatever the situation may be. They're not happy at a team. So like the transfer portal is loaded with players right now.
I love when people tell me they're going to transfer and they're in summer ball hitting 180. And I'm excuse me? You're hitting 180 and you're going to transfer because you thought they were being unfair to you at school for you not playing. Oh, okay. I get it. I told some hitters the other day, I said, if I was hitting under 240 or even 250 in summer ball, I would have been embarrassed. Like, I'd have gone back to my room and wouldn't have talked to anybody. I would have been, borderline, like, ready to slam my head up against the wall, trying to figure it out. I don't know.
The recruiting situation with the transfer portal being so out of whack, I think that the incoming classes are going to get hammered the worst, because coaches are going to go fill spots with players they think can do a better job. There's going to be some players that are good that are transferring. The incoming freshmen, the whole, you think the roster when you're going to a school. Like when I looked up rosters when I was going through recruiting stuff, like I tried to see like middle infielders, what year are they? How do I slot in? That's over like that.
Yeah.
You better show up. You better show up being ready to be number one.
How about this one? Show up, figure out what those, like, on day one, like, see what those guys are capable of, and then set the target in your mind that, like, I got to outwork that guy and I got to outdo that guy every day on the field. And that's, I think, part of the issue is, like, kids are so caught up in their own stuff. It's like, oh, I heard somebody told me the other day, they're like, I'm getting the day off. I said, are you sure you're getting the day off and you're not getting benched? You're hitting $180. Like, you're getting benched. Because if you're hitting 330, you ain't getting no day off, dog. Let me tell you.
And if
you ain't getting no days off,
you don't want the day off.
Yeah, you ain't getting no day. Oh, I got the day. Like, it's like, who you trying to fool, bro? You trying to fool me? Nah, dog, you getting benched, homie. You better watch out that dude don't get 3 today, because the next time you get the day off, it's gonna be for a long time.
Wally Pipp, you're gonna get Wally pipped. All right, next topic. We have a youth baseball fight. Did you happen to watch the video on this?
Yes.
So I have some questions. My number one question is, where was the runner at the beginning of the play? Was he on second or third? What do you think? Because we don't
blacked out. I don't know.
So the reason I bring this up is like the video starts with like the second baseman is on his hands and knees. So he's fallen down trying to field the ground ball. This is a youth baseball, like youth. Kid fell down, like the classic, oops, I fell trying to because my feet got tangled up because I'm not an adult and have no body control. So the kid is safe at first, as far as I can tell. Safe at first. First baseman comes up. Like, decent job getting your head on a swivel, like looking for the next out. Throws a kid out by,
Boom.
I mean, a mile. The kid's not even he's barely at the cut. Kind of a collision, and I'm doing a play-by-play as I watch it. He kind of gives him a little press. Catcher with the mohawk and the shades on screams in his face. Screams in the base runner's face. So the base runner throws a punch at his, like, the side of his neck. Like, where did he hit him? It wasn't a very good punch.
But the best part was that he
hit him like
up right away.
He hit him like here in the neck. And then all the dads come in there like, he's out of here. Like, dude, if you're the catcher, first of all, the kid was safe at first. Look for the next play. Second of all, if the kid's on second base when the play starts, okay, like he sends them. We don't know how many outs there were in the inning. Maybe it was at the third out. We don't know. If the kid's on third base to start that, like, he should have been in the dugout having a sip of Gatorade already because that play took forever to develop. So what the heck happened in this play?
No. The only thing, none of that part's important. What I want to know, the only part that I want to know is why the kid coming home got like super offended that he ran into the catcher and decided he was going to throw a right cross. And it was probably because of the mohawk and the shades.
And he screamed in his face. He like tagged him. And he went like with the hands down, which is not a good defensive position to be in because now your whole face is exposed. So he went hands down, and the kid just popped him in the neck.
And then he didn't flinch.
Bad punch. It just wasn't a good punch.
All right, who's the worst to blame?
Big time mohawk and shades. He almost dodged the punch almost.
Who's most to blame? Are you putting all the responsibility on the catcher here?
I mean, the whole thing's on this. The kid received it in terrible position. Didn't give him a lane. We could have an obstruction call.
No, not if you have the ball. If you have the ball, you're allowed to do whatever you want.
He's standing in the baseline, and I guess he caught it before the kid got there. The kid, it was weak. It was a weak kind of push. Never stepped on the plate. They kind of like squared up a little bit, but the kid. So the runner, he's out by a mile. Just go sit down. But if the catcher should be looking for the next play.
Do you think stuff like this used to happen and we just didn't get to see it on Twitter, so we didn't know it existed?
It must have been the third out because the pitcher's running off the field. So maybe there were some tense moments earlier in the game.
Hey, how about this? Did you see there was a huge parent fight at a 9-year-old like they didn't even get to finish the game, 9-year-old championship series or whatever.
Was it 9? I thought it was even younger than that.
Yeah, maybe 7s. I don't know.
Some dad was screaming, he dropped the ball. He dropped the ball.
And then the parents all
go sit down and like go on Twitter or something. Like go relax.
But how about you just like let your kids chill out and play and let them figure it out, right? Like let them figure it out. Why do you have to get involved in youth sports? Like, you know what? To some degree, I appreciate the fact that the catcher bowed up in this play and that the player just turned around and tried to cold cock him. Like, all right, figure it out.
I thought the whole thing was I have no problem with two kids. Like, you screaming, he's gonna punch him in the neck. Go for it. Like, you're gonna get ejected. Like, you're gonna get ejected for screaming in his face. Go your separate ways and be like, all right, well,
see you later.
If I want to play baseball, don't get ejected.
Yeah.
Like, let them learn their lessons. Parents like storm the field, like eager to get a kid thrown out of the game, which like just let the umpire do his job. If anything, separate the kid. The coaches didn't come in there to separate the kids. They came in
they came in to fight, to point blame, place blame. So much of the world is about placing blame now. Like they're just trying to put blame on people. Like, oh, it's your fault. Oh no, it's your fault. Oh no, my kid did good. No, your kid stinks.
Yeah. So it was the third out. Like I said, the pitcher's running off the field, and he didn't even really he just kept running. Like he's kind of stopped and looked.
Hey, speaking of ejections,
I did like how the catcher just stood there after, like, dude, really, you just punched me in the neck?
Yeah,
you just stood there
with my mohawk. Don't you know that I'm tougher than you? I have a mohawk and shades to catch. I have a question for you. Did you see Joey Votto's ejection the other day?
Yeah,
epic, right? And the poor little girl that was there to see him. I'm glad they took care of her though.
Yeah,
like who's a huge Reds fan that lives in San Diego? By the way, like how's that possible?
Maybe she has family in Ohio.
No, the mom is from Ohio. She's like, I'm turning my daughter into a Reds fan. I'm glad she's becoming as big a Reds fan as I am.
And then we go to the game and Votto just gets tossed in the.
She was wearing her little Joey Votto shirt. I've never felt worse for a little kid. She was like crying. She's like, "Why is Joey not in the game anymore?" And Mom's like, "Oh, he got ejected." But
how does that message get to the clubhouse?
Twitter. She went full Twitter.
Did
Reds, she? MLB, yeah. So you could make the argument that that's a parent using their kid to try to get cool stuff, but we're not going to go there. Are we?
I'm a big Joey Votto fan. I'm cool with it.
But so the ejection itself, I was going to talk about the ejection itself. Okay, whatever. So he's
so mad about? He's
in a conversation with the third base umpire, right? He was like with the third base umpire, and he's walking back, and the home plate umpire threw him out.
Did he throw him out right away when he was talking to
the home plate umpire? Was the one that, so here's general rule of thumb. It's like if you have your back to an umpire, you can pretty much call him the worst thing on the planet, I think. I just knocked my computer over.
That was Rich get me, so I said, just don't turn your head. Say what you want.
If I'm not looking at you, I can say whatever I want. I mean, short of like bad stuff about your mom, right? Whatever.
And you always say I wasn't talking to you.
Exactly. Like nobody knows the interaction that's going on. Votto was really pissed.
Terrible.
Because
I wasn't talking to you.
Yeah. The home plate umpire was the one that engaged in conversation at that point. Just, bro, leave me alone. Let me yell at my third base umpire because I took a check swing that I shouldn't have taken, and it was close, and I don't like his call because I've seen calls go the other way, and now you got to get involved. And now I'm already volatile at that point. Leave me alone.
He's mad.
I've been ejected 3 times in my career, and all 3 times were when I was already turned and walking back to the dugout.
Rabbit ears.
What are we doing? Just leave him alone. Let him go sulk in his ball of misery. One of the guys that threw me out kept his hands in his pocket the whole game. In the jackets with the pockets. The whole game. Didn't take him out.
As a home plate umpire?
Yeah, other than to get the balls to give them to the catcher and pitcher. It's weird.
I wish he kept him in the pocket for that too. That would have been better.
Yeah.
All right, post show. College outfielders playing super deep. I threw that out to Twitter. Threw it out to Twitter, and everybody's like, "Oh, the bats are juiced. They're not juiced. Oh, the balls are juiced. No, they're not juiced." I got a text. I just got a text from a college coach about it, and he said, "Because we don't trust them, and it's they make less mistakes when they play deep, so it's just easier that way."
The winning run was on third base with less than 2 outs, and they were like, and Eduardo Perez is on the game it was the Vanderbilt game the other night, and Eduardo Perez is like, man, he can't throw anybody out from there. I was like, dude, you're playing like 6 steps in front of the warning track. You need to be like 12 steps behind second base. What are we doing?
Well, the thing about like the whole like you can't throw them out from there. Like you got to throw the ball where they hit it, too. So, but you got to you can't be so deep that you can't get to the ball.
With less than 2 outs and a runner on third base,
winning run.
You need to play in the infield. If he's the winning run with less than 2 outs, you need to be in a place where you can catch it and throw him out. Like unless you have
you have to be able to get to that ball. You can't let the ball drop in because he's definitely safe.
Well, no, but like that's what I'm saying. Like you have to be able to catch anything in a position to throw somebody out, right? So like if you're at average center field depth and you don't have a plus arm, like you're not catching that ball on the run moving in with enough momentum to throw a guy out from third base. Like, so yeah. And but like across the board, outfielders are playing 3 feet in front of the warning track.
It was shot when we were at University of Texas for the regional. I was shocked at how deep they were playing. Everybody.
Yeah. I kept telling you, why is the center fielder for Arizona State playing on the warning track? What are we doing?
It's crazy.
Make a play.
So at least we got to the truth on that one. And then NBA playoffs, Blake Griffin's out. It's pretty sad.
So sad for you.
Uh,
That's the only player you like.
well, I like rubbing it in producer Patrick's eye a little bit, saying, "Hey, Blake
Who's
Griffin's
rubbing it in now? Who's rubbing it in now? Blake Griffin's sitting at home.
coming in from the dark cloud over there."
Hey, let's take a second to.
It was fun because you said he was washed up. I didn't watch any of the games.
Yeah,
I watched like 30 seconds of the game.
there were 2 Game 7s.
I saw Durant get
I didn't
blocked.
watch either one. Durant came with it that day.
He just looked tired.
The shot that he hit to tie it and send it to overtime was absurd, and he was so mad at himself that he wasn't behind the 3-point line because he would have won it. Game of inches, man.
I didn't even see that. I saw him. I saw like the last 30 seconds of overtime when he got blocked, and then he shot an air ball.
How about
very good
last night?
Durant and who was hurt? Kyrie was hurt, and Harden was hurt. So
I think Harden played, didn't he?
Harden played, but he wasn't 100. He was like he's kind of hobbling. He had a hamstring strain.
Yeah, but he can go for 40 like that. Hey, last night Ben Simmons just turned down a wide open layup and got so called out. Everybody called him out. Doc called him out, and Embiid called him out. Like, how do you not just go up and dunk the ball? Like, why aren't you thinking about score first there, Ben Simmons? You're a freak. Dunk the ball.
He's thinking about score like 18th.
Did you see his fourth quarter numbers in the last 7 games?
I think he only took like 3 shots, right?
Yeah, he has 3 shots. And I think he's 2 for 3 from the field or 3 for 3 from the field.
3 for 3.
No shots in the fourth quarter. Shoot the ball, man.
The one where he had the layup, it was like he did the spin move to the basket, and then
you don't deserve to win if you can't do that. I'm full team Suns. Devin Booker, I'm on him. Haven't watched a game, won't watch a game, but like I'm about Devin Booker because I watched him hit 100 straight threes at one time on Twitter, and I'm about that life.
He rolls in every day with a different car, pretty baller cars, like old school throwback style. Like
NBA guys get paid enough to buy a new car every day.
Yeah, but he's got like a 1989 Buick that's all like tricked out, but done in a good way.
A little aggressive, yeah.
Or like a Cutlass.
I think the Bucks have to win, just like based on basketball, like gods, because they've been good for the last 3 years.
The
Bucks, the Hawks, the Suns, and the Clippers. We don't want Kawhi to win again because he's already. I mean, he's won enough, and nobody wants Paul George to look good.
Kawhi's hurt.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
I think it'll be Bucks Suns finals, and that's on. It's like a 50-50 series. I might actually take the Suns by a hair.
Although Trae Young versus Devin Booker would be sick, but I'm not gonna watch it anyway, so I don't care.
Trae Young had a tough game. I checked the box score, and it told me.
Is it weird to me that he like looks a little like way older than what he is? Like he's got that thin flow, but he's like 24 or something like that. So I think he's young, but he looks old. His hair makes him look old, but he could play.
He's cold-blooded. He went into Madison Square Garden and said, "This is my place."
Yeah, this is
my garden.
That's the beauty of the NBA is they all have like at least 1 or 2 dudes that you're like, yeah, about this life. That's why the NBA is rocking it, even though I'm not watching it. They got 1 less viewer than last year.
I check box scores. That's about it. Anything else? Vanderbilt, I thought they were on the ropes. Kumar gave up 3 in the first, and they just clawed back and won it.
Be interesting. I think. I mean, it's kind of wide open. Arizona played nice. They needed to score when they had an opportunity to. The whole extra innings was a debacle there. Nobody was scoring in front of the scoring position. Good game, though.
You think they should go runner on second in the college game?
No. There's too many bad things can happen. Turn it into 23-run innings in college. Yeah, I mean, I'm about the college game right now, man.
It's kind of weird, though, when they don't put the runner on second now.
Yeah, it's true. I'm full. Like, I would love Tennessee to come back and win it, even though I don't think they can.
They had a scare in the regional. They almost lost to Wright State in their first game.
Yeah, Wright State had the best offense in the country, like historically one of the best offenses in college baseball.
And they gave up a grand slam with that monster bat flip. Kid did like 17 cartwheels around the bases.
I think if you bat flip bad enough, like the catcher should be allowed at least 1 right cross as you're coming out of the box.
Right in the neck and then stare you down?
Nah, chin. Hit him in the chin.
Does
Does that mean? Am I allowed to say
I was
that?
playing off the youth fight.
Yeah, I know.
Punch him in the neck.
I knew what you were doing. That's it. I'm done.
All right.